Okay, can I kind of get rolling? Lauren says yes. Thank you guys so much for coming. I am going to talk just a very small amount, and then I'm going to turn it over to Alicia, who we need to hear from more. But I do kind of want to just lead us through a time of thinking through some scripture. I think it's always good for us to see what we're doing in scripture. So we're not just spinning our wheels in how we're serving the Lord. And it fits in with the theme of the day. We talked about joining in Christ's mission. In Zephaniah 3 is such a cool chapter. We preached through it maybe 3 years ago. We preached through Zephaniah. But Zephaniah 3, verse 14, is when Zephaniah kind of makes this shift, and he talks about Israel being restored and God's people reaching this kind of consummation. And verse 14 starts out like this. It says, "Sing aloud, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Rejoice and exult with all your heart, O daughter of Jerusalem." And then it goes on to say, why? The Lord has taken away judgments against you. He's cleared away your enemies. The King of Israel, the Lord, is in your midst. You shall never fear any evil. So he gives kind of the reason to do this, but the command, the thing to do is sing out loud. All right? I don't know if you've ever encountered anybody that just sort of has this posture of, I've seen this a lot in churches I grew up in, where like I'd ask my parents, why doesn't this person sing in church? Like I always look over as a kid, you just kind of scan and you look around and you'll see people just kind of standing. And or, I'd have friends in college that wouldn't sing in church. They'll go and they'll stand, but they won't sing. And I don't know if you've ever asked anybody why they don't, but a couple I've heard as an answer a few times, and in just kind of in general as a reason why people don't sing, like, well, I'm singing in my heart. I'm just singing to the Lord in my heart. That's what I'm doing. But we see so many places in Scripture where it says, sing out loud, shout, rejoice and exult with all your heart, not in your heart. Like this is an outward thing. And so, the way that you guys are so uniquely gifted by God to join in the mission of God is that you are enabling that here at our church. You're allowing us to sing out loud, to shout, to rejoice and exalt with all of our hearts by all the time and energy and effort you put into leading us really well. And it's been amazing to see how our worship team has grown in this. Just me as a person who worships here at this church, I feel like I'm better able to do this because you guys work so hard at it. And what's cool is, it's not just that God commands this and wants this. Our God is a singing God. Just a few verses later, it says this: "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by his love. He will exalt over you with loud singing." Our God is a God who sings loudly. That's just who he is. That's amazing. And what is he singing about? It says he's rejoicing over us with gladness. And so just the idea that we can rejoice over him as he's rejoicing over us, this relationship of singing to and with each other is really cool. But then also I wanted to kind of land the plane in Psalm 147. See another place. Sorry, my technology's not helping me. 147, "Praise the Lord, for it is good to sing praises to our God, for it is pleasant, and a song of praise is fitting." So as you guys come and lead us in worship, as you put the effort and the work into Thursday night practicing at home, learning worship initiative and planning center and all these things so that we can come up here and for 2 services, lead God's people in worship, listen to this again. It is good to sing praises to our God, for it is pleasant, and a song of praise is fitting. That is fitting. That means it is right. It is right for us to sing songs of praise to our God. So what you guys are doing is so important. So important that it is a good thing for us to gather together and sing to our God. It's a right thing to do. And for our God, it says it is pleasant. He actually receives joy from us singing to him. And so I can't pour out my thanks enough as a pastor of this church for you all putting in all the time and effort and energy to leading us really well. And these meetings that we see as really valuable because we want our worship team to be on the same page and there not be confusion throughout the week for us knowing kind of how we're doing all the things that we're doing, how we're selecting the songs, where you can go to practice and find help, and just kind of what you have access to. And so I've asked ALICIA to lead us through that because I think she knows Planning Center best. As many videos as I read, I'm just not really a millennial. I'm more of a boomer, and I'm a non-tech savvy boomer at heart. I might even be like, what's above boomers? Whatever they are, the ones that have never touched a computer. I'm more like that. But ALICIA understands this. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her walk us through Planning Center, which again is a tool that we are getting used to. It's very new for us. We're only a couple months into it. But man, is it powerful, and especially powerful for our worship team. Like 3 years ago, I asked ALICIA if you had a blank check. I think this is back when we were at Eva Elementary. I said, if you had a blank check and we could get anything that would help our worship team, what would it be? And I was thinking speakers, piano, guitar, like what would it be? And she was like, Planning Center. And I just wasn't ready to pull the trigger then for a lot of reasons, but we've pulled the trigger now. And so I'm going to let her walk us through Planning Center services and what all it can do for you guys on the worship team. All right. Thank you. Do you want this? Yeah.
Hi, guys. Okay. Hi, guys. So I'm going to take you through the desktop part of this. Most of you guys I know use the app on your phone or the iPad, so I'll switch in a little bit and show you what it looks like on that side. But I mostly just wanted to show you on this side because this one is easier to see. Like if you're looking for a lot of information, if you're looking for songs information and things like that, there is some stuff that's easier to see on the desktop, and it's a little easier for me to like show you and navigate on this end. But most of the stuff that you can do on the desktop, you can also do with like your phone or tablet, iPad, whatever you guys use for that kind of stuff. So when a lot of you guys, maybe some of you guys, like I know you recently found out about services. We didn't really push services very much. We didn't want to get people downloading like 4 different apps because that's really like a big hurdle to kind of get over. So if you're on a team, though, if you're on the tech team, if you're on the worship team, it is to your benefit to download services onto your phone, and then also know that if you go to services.planningcenteronline.com, that's another place where you can log in because that's where all of your resources are going to be as far as songs, which is the main thing that you guys are looking for. You can also see who else is on the team with you from services as well, which is also really important. So I am actually logged in as Joanna right now because I was working with Jen Bodie and realized I have access to things that she does not have access to, so I wanted to be able to show you a decent a decent walkthrough of what you guys have access to without all the extra stuff that you don't need. So if you log in to services, so if you go to Planning Center Online and you log in and you come to this upper left over here where it says services, you can switch apps here. Most of you are going to have groups and services. I think that's the only 2 that you really have. If you're no, because she's a parent too. So groups and services are going to be the only ones. So if you go to services, it'll take you here. It'll default to Sunday services. There is this historical line up here. You don't need to use any of that. That was just a way for us to input songs we've done in the past so you guys know the last time we did songs, which can be helpful if you're a leader and things like that. So when you come here, you can see that we have services planned all the way through May. Which is helpful if you're a leader, which is just Tim today. But if you're in charge of or someone asks you about picking songs, you can look ahead to see what the plan is. So the plan is basically just going to be like empty songs and then the sermon and the sermon passage. So if you are choosing songs or helping someone choose songs, you can get an idea of what is at least the passage is going to be for that week and might help you choose songs. So these ones here are highlighted green because Joanna is literally scheduled to serve in some capacity every week. So for yours might not be green for every single Sunday here, but Joanna's is because she does everything. So, but if you're scheduled to serve, you'll have this green line kind of pop up, and then no one is scheduled beyond the end of March, so no one's going to have green lines after that. So if you are trying to find out what songs are scheduled for your week, they should be available about 10 days out, so the Wednesday before the Sunday you're scheduled. That's the goal for the leaders, to get those songs inputted into the plan so you can see what's upcoming and then also get access to all of the resources. I believe that all of you should be viewers in the sense that you should be able to view any plan and also any songs on any plan, even for the weeks that you're not scheduled. If you don't have that option, let me know. I think I can change it. But that's kind of what we want, because we know sometimes we have to make last-minute substitutions and switches, so you guys should have access to weeks, even if you're not scheduled, to see at least what songs are there and who's scheduled for that week. So if you click on February 27th, this is a Sunday that we just did. And so this is what the plan view looks like. So this was today's sermon. Today, Join Christ's Mission. February 27th is the Sunday that we're on, and then you can see Joanna is scheduled up here for cello and vocals, and she has this little green check mark in the bottom left corner because she confirmed for those positions for this day. So you can see on the left hand where I'm scrolling, you can see who's scheduled. So this is actually the tech team first at 9 a.m. because she is on the tech team as well. But you can see who's scheduled. So you guys might only see the worship side of this, which is at the bottom here. So worship is your positions here. So at least you guys know like what instruments are going to be available, who's singing, and things like that, and can help you as you're practicing. Like if you know there's going to be a ton of instruments, you might not have to do as much. If you're the only instrument, you can be carrying the band, and so that's good to know ahead of time as well. Depending on the Sunday, some of the stuff may or may not be filled in. The pre-service stuff is not really for you guys. It's mostly for the tech team, to be honest. It's just when we start recorders, the live stream, and things like that. If you come down, though, this one is filled in. It's not always, but this is going to be the call to worship. Again, nice for you guys to know, not really for you. What you want are these ones that have the green bubbles. So this one is still from before this Thursday, but as you can see, there's actually 5 songs on here because Jen Haole was considering 5 songs for this service. And so you can see that Look What God Has Done is scheduled, Cornerstone, His Mercy is More, Do It Again, and then God of Revival was her X Factor song, which we ended up using for this Sunday anyway. So for you guys, the most important thing is going to be not really the order, but at least to know what songs are scheduled. And then there's this rehearse tab, like right underneath the title of today, Join Christ's Mission. If you click on that, that's going to be more helpful to you guys. So you can see that you'll just have the songs now for the Sunday. You can see that Look What God Has Done. We're going to do that in the key of F. It's a Ghost Ship song. And then if you're a vocalist, you guys don't normally use this. You normally use just the regular chord sheets. But if you're like, all of that stuff is too distracting for me, you can look at just the lyrics for the song. So if you click the little eyeball that pops up, it'll generate a preview of the PDF in your browser, apparently very slowly. But you can see just the lyrics for that particular song. There's some more documents. So chord chart in F that has no parentheses after that. This is the chord chart that Planning Center generates when you input it using, when you input it manually. This is the chord chart that Planning Center uses. So this is the one we used today because Look What God Has Done is not a worship initiative song. So this is the chord chart that they use. This is what it looks like. The order is here at the top. This is just a standard order from whatever the recorded version of the song is. This may change on Thursday. You guys can update that on Thursdays. If the worship leader knows beforehand, they may just add it as a note what order they're planning on doing. Another thing that I want you guys to see here in these documents is if you are a guitar player, well, Justin never uses these, but if you are a guitar player, so like Seth uses this a lot, I also add capo charts for the keys of C and G so that you can play C and G shapes in any key. It gets a little funky when you get into keys like F because it's like capo 5, which is a little bit up there. But these do automatically generate as long as there's a chord chart by Planning Center in there. So that's something that if you're a guitar player and that's helpful to you, that is available to you, and you can use that during the week. You don't have to wait for me to transpose it or figure out where it's going to be. The last thing that is super important is anytime a worship leader picks a key and we generate the documents for that key, it also generates an MP3 file that's been pitch shifted into that key. So it's going to sound weird. But if you look down here, look what God has done. If you see in brackets it says PS, it means that this song is not the original MP3. It's been pitch shifted in some way. So this is a song in the key of F. This just isn't the original key for the song. So if you click on it, let me see if it'll play. Maybe it won't play. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going to make a switch really quick here. Maybe I'll make a switch. Headphones. Okay. Okay. So sounds a little demonic because it got pitch shifted down, but at least if you're practicing, if you're harmonizing, doing stuff like that, at least it's in the key that you're going to be singing on Thursday. So those are the kinds of things that you have available for, what am I trying to say? For the songs. If you have a song like Cornerstone, so if you look what God has done, and it says Ghost Ship at the top here, that's the name of the arrangement. So this is just the original recording that Ghost Ship did. That's the arrangement that we're using. For songs that are on Worship Initiative, we're almost always going to do the Worship Initiative version because, I mean, unless the worship leader has a really strong reason to not do the Worship Initiative version, like Tim doesn't like it or something, then he can change. So there's always 2 arrangements available for people that for songs that are also on Worship Initiative. We like to do the Worship Initiative versions because you guys have access to Worship Initiative, which also gives you access to more practice resources. Are you on Worship Initiative, now that I'm thinking about it? Lauren? I don't think so. Lauren's probably not, but everybody else in this room, I think I just sent you an invitation recently. So if you look here, it's the same, that lyrics chart always gets generated whenever you put a chord chart in there. We did this song. We were going to do this song. We didn't do it this week in the key of D. Important for you guys, it generates the chord chart like before, so it's the same. It looks the same for all of them if it's generated by Planning Center. These Planning Center charts are based on the Worship Initiative PDFs that we use. So you can use this one, or if you see here, it says chord chart in DWI, that stands for Worship Initiative. And this is the original PDF from Worship Initiative, so you don't have to like go into Worship Initiative, download the songs, wait for an email, it's already there. This is the one that will print out for you on Thursday, most likely. So if you want to use this to practice and get used to this format, you definitely can. And then again, there's a capo chart if you're playing, if you don't want to play in the key, if you don't want to play D shapes and you'd rather play C shapes, the capo chart's available. The MP3 is here. Again, it's pitch shifted, so it's going to sound different than the original, but it'll at least be in the right key. So it's higher, but at least it's in the right key. And then one other thing that's it's an extra thing for Worship Initiative. If you look down here and see Other, then if you click on this link, it's not going to do anything special other than take you to the song page in Worship Initiative. And if you're logged in, then you'll have access to the videos that are on here. So if you're playing guitar, you can see how they did the guitar part in the original recording. Same with the electric guitar 1 and 2. And then if you're a vocalist, this rehearsal player will let you solo out parts. So if you want to know what they did, I'm not signed in, but if you click on vocals, it'll let you solo out just the high harmony, just the low harmony. It just plays it a lot louder than the rest of the parts in the song, so that's something you can listen to. There's never strings on there, really sorry, so that's not going to be as helpful to you guys who play strings, but for vocalists, especially if you're trying to figure out at least what they sang for the recording, that's there. This is going to be in the recorded key. It's never going to be pitch shifted or anything like that, but if you're trying to find like what did they do relatively speaking, this could be helpful. A lot of you guys don't use this because I can see like who logs in, last time you logged in and stuff. So if you're ever looking, like if you just like don't know what to do for a song or if you need ideas, some of you guys don't need ideas, that's why you don't use it, but some of you guys just don't know that you can do this, and so I'm just reminding you that you can do this for any song that's on Worship Initiative. Like I said, it's not necessarily going to be in the key you're doing on Thursday, but relatively speaking, you can at least hear what kind of parts they did, what the difference was between like the low harmony and the, you know, the melody line and things like that. If you're looking for Guitar tutorials are super nice on here. If you don't know how to play the guitar like me, it's amazing. If you're Justin, you already know, but for people who are struggling or just trying to find like a nice lead line, it's a really, really awesome tool. So anyway, you guys should have that. I'll send you an invitation so that you have that as well for any song that is on Worship Initiative. Okay, so another thing I want to show you guys is, at least this is the way that I do it during the week, but I listen to the songs a lot, even on weeks that I'm not mixing, because you guys always ask me questions about the songs, and so I was like, man, I really need to start listening to these songs, so I'm not like, I don't know what we're doing. So I listen to the songs a lot during the week. Obviously, if you're mixing, like Tim does the same thing, because he's a worship leader, and he mixes for the service. I recommend that you guys do the same during the week. Like, Thursday probably shouldn't be the first time you listen to the song that week, like at rehearsal, so it would be great. If you came in having listened to the songs and at least have an idea of what you'd like to do. It always changes because no one gets to practice together until Thursday. Totally understandable. But at least if you have an idea of like options available, then it makes for a pretty productive Thursday where we can at least throw ideas off of each other, and we can be more flexible on Thursdays if we already have something in mind. So one of the ways that I try to do that, and I'll show you on the mobile app as well, is I use my phone and the media player, and I just listen to it on my commutes. I have like a 36-minute commute one way, so it's like 2 or 3 times through the set list, and so that's how I do it. Usually by Thursday, I'm not listening to it anymore because it's kind of a lot, and I know I'm going to listen to it a bunch on Thursday, and I'll take a break Friday and listen to something that's not worship music. I'll show you on here in case you're at your desktop and you want to listen to music. But if you click up here, there's one that says Media Player. And if you click on that, it'll just pop up down here. And so what you can do, and I'll show you on the app as well, is you can watch the YouTube video if you want to. I included YouTube links if that's like helpful for you guys, if you want to see like when like certain things came in, and it's not just the recording. These are original recordings though. They're not necessarily going to be Worship Initiative versions, but I tried to find Worship Initiative versions if they had them. Most of these are just recorded songs. Not all of them are music videos necessarily, but they're here if you want them. If you use YouTube as your music player, something like that, you can have the links for them. And then it just compiles the MP3s that are associated with that particular song in the plan. So you can listen to it here. You can, let's see if it'll let you. No, it won't. It'll just play it down here on the corner if it's a YouTube video. I usually skip the YouTube videos when I'm listening myself. So I will actually, does anybody have any questions before I switch over to the regular app? Tim, yes. Yeah. No, it doesn't. That's why I wanted to show you guys the app, because there are some differences. So if you are on the desktop, I prefer to do things at least starting off on the desktop, just because it is easier to focus on just the songs. I think it's also more difficult to see like who's scheduled that week with you as the team on the app. So if you want to know like who else is playing with you, I'd recommend logging in at least once, maybe at the beginning, maybe that Wednesday that the songs become live, just to see who's going to be with you guys. And then the app I mostly use as a media player when I'm in the car, but it's just easier for me to do it here. You can do a lot of the stuff on the app. The rehearsal tab though doesn't exist on the app. It's kind of focused, like you can find it, but it's not as convenient for sure on the app. But thank you, that's a really good point. There are some differences between the desktop and the app versions of this. Does anybody else have any questions about this desktop view? Does everyone feel fairly confident that they can find the songs that are scheduled for them that week? So we'll go back because Jen Bodie has actually already chosen her songs for next week. And Joanna's on, I think, for tech next week. So if you're on the tech team and you're not scheduled for worship, you still have access to all the songs. If you're on the tech team and you don't do worship ever, you still have access to the songs, because if you're doing slides or something like that, I still want you guys to be able to listen to the songs. So if you go back to plans at the top here. So next week, Jen Bodie is leading. So she's already put in her songs. She may have already put in the call to worship as well. So this is the default page that it'll show you, which is the plan order. So she's going to do Lion and the Lamb, Great Are You, Lord, Christ Be Magnified, There's Nothing That Our God Can't Do. And then you can see the keys that she's chosen for that. And if you hover over, it'll show you like Lion and the Lamb is the worship initiative, so that we'll have a worship initiative link with it. Great Are You, Lord, I don't think is in worship initiative. Oh, I think it is. I think she just probably chose the wrong one. And then these are worship initiatives. So I actually have to talk to her to see if these are actually the arrangements she wants to do. But if you go to rehearse, like I said, you can find the lyrics, the song sheets are there. There's a link to Spotify if you have a Spotify account and want to add it to a playlist, although we normally put out playlists for those as well separately. And then the link to Lion and the Lamb on worship initiatives is there if you need some extra resources when you practice. Everybody good so far? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, great. Yes. Yes, I believe so. So if you... Yep, so I'll go back and just show it to you guys. So up here at the very top of the menu bar, there's a bubble that says songs. So if you click on that, that'll bring you to like the whole library of songs that we have. Like I said, everyone should have access to this. Let me know if you don't. It might just have to change. You don't have it. Oh, are you on the app? Okay. You have different access than he does, though, so, okay. It's possible, but I will double check yours. We may not have set you guys up properly as viewers. Like if you're not scheduled that week, you might not have access to the whole songs for some reason. I'll double check yours though for sure. You should have access to all of the songs that we do so that you can practice any song whenever you want to. Let me see if I can close this. Oh, I can't. Let me go next. Okay. So on the songs, you can, where it says add a text filter, it's just a search bar. You can search for any song. And then if you click on a song, I'm trying to find one that we actually recently did, Build My Life, I think we did. So if you see on the left here, there's an arrow. If you drop down, it'll show you the arrangements that are available. Like I said, if it's a worship initiative one, there's usually one called worship initiative. There's one that's by the original artist, which is just according to the original recording. And then if you click on the song, it'll take you to the song page. So this information, like I said, is available in the plan view as well. It's just a different format. But it'll show you the order for the worship initiative version. It'll have the link to Build My Life on worship initiative. And this song, Charlie Last did in the key of G. So that's really, that, and like I said, that's mostly for the worship leaders so they know which arrangement is theirs, which key they've done it last in. What's the song we did today? God of Revival. We did God of Revival today, right? Sorry, guys. Do it again. We did do it again. Do it again. Let me see if it'll have it on here. This is probably more appropriate for the worship leaders, but we'll just go over it because you guys can see it as well. So if you look at God of Revival, we did that today. So it says last scheduled February 27th. So you can see the last time we've done this song. And that's why we had those historical services so that you guys can go back and look when we did them. So we did God of Revival, the worship initiative version, so you can see the last several times that we've done this song. So we do it kind of a lot, kind of regularly, so that's good, which is probably good for you to know because that means it's familiar to our congregation, or if it's only been done one other time before, it's probably not as familiar and one we might need to focus on and make sure it's good for congregational worship. Okay, anyone else have any questions? No? Okay, I'm gonna try to take this off. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. We can mention that too. So for now, if there are new songs, and I need to check with you guys, and I will go over this with you guys as well, or if there are new keys. So if you want to do a song in a different key that isn't there. So this key, God of Revival for Worship Initiative, is available in B, F, and G. F is the original key. B is the key that Tim likes to do it in. And G is Jen's key. So for new keys, if there's a key that you would like to do the song in, I think that you guys can do that and change it, but I'm not sure. And so if we can't figure it out, let me know and I'll add it for you. We're a little bit restrictive on the access. Like not everyone has editor access because it is, as Heejung and I found out, very easy to delete entire arrangements of songs. And it's really sad when it happens because you got to redo the whole thing again. So because it's so easy, it's restricted so that if a song gets deleted, I can be 99% sure it was my fault. And since I was the one that did it, I deserve to have to put it in again. So I believe that you guys as editors can add keys, and I will confirm that with someone else's login, not mine, and then show you guys how to do that. If there is a new song, so if we're going to intro new songs, you talked about new songs. You didn't talk about new songs. If there's a new song, and you're a leader, and you're the one that's doing that new song, just let me know, and I will add it, because it is a little bit humbug to set up a brand new song. Adding keys is not as bad, though. Anybody else have any? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you were able to, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple things just to make sure that everybody has the files. This is a good example, though, while we're on the song page. So God of Revival, anytime I get around to it or if the recording is good, I try to put service recordings from this one. So if you look in the key of G under Jen Holloway, there's this one, a worship initiative recording. It's pitch shifted into the key of G, but then there's also this recording from when Jen did it back in December. It came out pretty good, and so I added it there. And that tends to be a more realistic recording for the way that we actually did the song and service. Is kind of nice to know. Most of the songs don't have this yet because I haven't gone back and separated all of the recordings and edited them so that they sound nice and things like that. But when I can or when I remember to, I try to add any song that we have a good recording of to Planning Center as well, so you guys can listen to those and hear how they were actually done before. It takes kind of long for me to edit songs, and so I don't do it all the time. But I will try to go through and do this week's songs if they came out okay on the recording. Anybody else have any questions about these particular views of the plans? These will be the most detailed, the easiest way to access the most resources if you do this from a desktop. Let me switch to the app, or try to switch to the app here and show you from here. Okay. Okay, let me see if this will work or not. Maybe I can't. Okay, well, anybody know why Apple TVs don't want to connect to iPads? Yeah, this is an iPad. Yeah, I just want to share my screen. I mean, so it's here. No, not speaker, not speaker. This. Flashing the black like it wants to. Okay. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, I've connected with this one before. I'm just not sure why it doesn't want to now. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can verbally walk you through this. I don't know. Let me see, actually. See, Joanna can see it. Okay, if you, do you guys have the services app on your phone? You have the services app, right? 8467?
Don't tell anyone. Well, I know your passcode. I'm not going to remember.
Okay, super. We'll do that. Yeah, so, but I think, because I actually reduced Joanna's viewership for this. Perfect. So on your app, Justin, with your services app open, you don't have a tab on the bottom that says songs? Yours doesn't either. Okay. 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 You can only see your schedule. That's probably just a viewer thing. Okay, I will go through and look at all of your guys' viewership, but you should, when you guys get access to this, do you mind if I use it really quick? Okay. Okay. I'm going to show you on Tim's because you guys should all be able to see this, and I'll fix it so that you guys can see this as well. So this is what it looks like when you have access to all of the services on the songs. So it'll come up. It's the same view as like the desktop. It has the Sunday services. Tim is not scheduled somehow next week. Wow. That was overlooked. All right, that's okay. Tim's not scheduled March 6th, and so it's not green on the left-hand side. But if you look at March 13th, when he is scheduled to be the worship leader, there's no songs here, but worship leaders, this is what it looks like. Song number 1, and if you go in, because you're a worship leader, you can go to the song tab and then just link a song, and it'll just replace song number 1 with the song. So you don't have to like add it in and delete it. Which is what I was doing in the beginning as well. But so now you know. You can just go to song number 1, link a song, and it'll replace it with the song and the key that you want. Okay, so if you go back to February 27th, since this one has, actually, you should be able to actually see, you can't either. Oh, you can, okay. So Tim's not scheduled March 6th at all, but he can still see the plan for March 6th, which I am trying to get so that you guys can see as well. So you should be able to see that next week they're doing Lion and the Lamb, even though he's not scheduled to do tech or worship team, which is really weird. But if you can see on the bottom, there's also other tabs. So he can see his own schedule, he can see the plans, and then if you click on songs on the bottom, he also has access to the song library. So you guys should also have this, and I will go back through. It's possible that we just assigned you the wrong level of permissions, and so I'll go through and change all that for you guys. And then you're not scheduled next week. You are scheduled next week. Okay. I will check on that. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. But once you have the right viewership, you should be able to see all songs with the songs tab, and then you should be able to access your resources. So the same thing, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, there's that the little play button will show you the songs that are scheduled. These are just the media files. So what I normally do is, because the YouTube videos won't play with your screen off, I just swipe them to the left to skip them. And then you can just play through this, and it'll just play through the playlist as many times as you want it to until you stop it, and things like that. So that's how I listen to all the songs in my car now, because they're in the right key and things like that, and you guys aren't stuck listening to media files that I linked on from Google Drive and your email and stuff like that, because you have to dangerously click on the next link in the middle of the highway, which is not recommended anymore. So what this means for you guys is we're probably not going to be sending out emails anymore. So review your schedule so that you know which weeks you're playing. Or obviously, if you get added on last minute, make sure that you can view the resources for the week that you're scheduled to play. And like I said, I'll spend the next 20 minutes or so making sure you guys have the correct viewership so that you can see songs anytime you guys are, whether you guys are scheduled or not, but then also give you the resources so that you can look through songs when you're not scheduled, so you can practice other songs that we haven't done for a long time, and things like that. Does anybody have any questions about the app view? It's pretty much the same as a desktop. You just don't have that cool rehearsal tab, like kind of focused view. But you have the playlist if you want to use that. Which there's also, you have to time it right, but there is a metronome up here at the top right. And then supposedly it syncs. The sync is a little hit or miss, I'm going to be honest. But it's there if you want your own click track, which I'm sure all of you guys want the click track all the time from the feedback that I've gotten. One thing about this is I only listen to the click track also. Yes, my favorite. The other thing about this, I think to listen to it on your on like a mobile device, you have to have the songs downloaded. So there's the arrows in the left-hand corner, and it might complain at you if the songs aren't downloaded. But you can go through. I believe if we go back, maybe here. I don't want to go too far here. You can remove them from your phone if it's taking up too much space. So if you go to settings, if you go to audio files, you can delete any files from past weeks so you're not taking up a ton of room with like previous media files downloaded. But it's definitely easier, and it might even complain at you if the media files aren't downloaded and you're trying to listen to it like from the media player. But if you go into settings, you can delete ones that you don't need anymore. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything else that you want me to cover? Justin, okay. I heard it, thank you. Okay, did you want to talk about new songs, or you're gonna skip that? Okay.
Thank you, Alicia, so much. I spilled some sauce on me, and then I tried to clean it. That's what this is, just so everyone knows. Add some clarity to that situation. Add some clarity. I just thought I'd get out in front of it. Okay, so we, at the last time we had a meeting like this, I shared the stats on it. Now I don't remember them, but it's something to the degree of last year, 2021. Was that last year? Were we in 2020? 2021, we added like, I don't know, it was like 25 to 30 new songs. Like we almost averaged one a week. And that created some problems. It was good in some ways, but it created some problems in some other ways in that we just had this whole group of songs that we didn't really know very well as a congregation. And so we kind of hit pause and said, let's, instead of kind of just introducing new songs whenever we kind of feel led or whatever, let's try to think through it more strategically, more helpful, try to shepherd our whole church better in that process. And so we are creating a new process for introducing new songs. It is not finished, that process. And so as of right now, we are asking worship leaders to not have new songs in the set list. And so we're probably going to continue that for all of March and look for April to be the earliest time that we're introducing new songs. So that's all about that. To go back to just one thing, and then we'll land the ship here and leave. That Alicia said, and this is big in terms of like kind of our operating procedure. The way it's currently worked is that any given week, like right now, after service on Sunday, the worship leader did work last week for this upcoming Sunday, March 6th, to already pick those songs, and so those are already set. And so what I would do right now is I go home, and at some point during the rest of today, I try to find some time to send out an email to the worship leader saying, you're on for 14 days from now. You're leading us. And here's the text. Here's some song recommendations. Can you pick the songs by Wednesday? Then there'll be some back and forth dialogue about songs. Sometimes the worship leader will be like, here's the 14 I'm thinking of. Can you help me narrow it down to 4? I'm like, oh, no. Sure. That's good. It's just, it's a heavy thing. And so then we'll select 4 by Wednesday, and then I'll send an email to the whole worship team with, here's the 4 songs. Here's the links to all the, as you've gotten these before. Here's the links. Here's all this stuff. Here's the team. Here's all that's happening. Moving forward, there are no more emails from me. They're all gone. I'm not going to be sending. One of the main reasons that I was sold to get Planning Center was that this is going to make my life and job easier, and that I don't have to send those emails and chase down those links and do a lot of stuff on the musical side of stuff that I don't even really understand. I'm just not the best person to be doing that anyway. And so because we can see forward so far, it's something that we can go in and, like Jen Bodie for this next Sunday, she had those songs selected like 2 weeks ago. She went in, read the text 2 weeks ago. She knew she was going to have family in town, that this stretch right here for the Bodies was going to be tough. So she's had those songs selected for a while. And so all that to say, we can look forward, worship leaders can, and get songs selected way earlier than even 10 days out. And you guys can go in and even be practicing earlier than that. Some of you only serve once a month, and so hopefully we can get to the point. I'll always check, and if a worship leader hasn't selected the songs by 10 days out, then I'll have to do the kind of the poke reminder email of, hey, let's get these songs selected. If you need any help, let me know. But other than that, we're hoping that Planning Center just allows us to be plugged in and engaged with this to the degree that we don't really need reminder emails. We're just kind of all in this together in this system. Yeah, that's all I have. Any last questions or thoughts for me and or Alicia? First worship leader meeting. We don't always do Thai It's usually pizza. Or a worship team meeting. Yeah. Thank you guys again so much. Did you have anything else? Okay. We want to get you out of here. My goal is 115. Look at that, 114. There's lots of Thai Lao left. There's to-go containers back there. If it all disappears, that'd be great. So take some home if you want it. If not, I'll take it home and give it to my kids. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Let me just close us in prayer, and then we'll get out of here. Father, thanks so much for the opportunity to lead your people in worship. You said that it is good and fitting and it is right for us to praise you and worship you with loud singing, with shouts, to rejoice. And so, Father, I pray that you'd protect us from going any direction that's going to distract from that, and that by the guidance of your Spirit, we would go down the directions that will facilitate that better and just allow people to see your beauty and your glory and to cry out. Maybe some people, for the first time, cry out in song, praising you because of how great and glorious you are. Thank you for the opportunity to partner with you in this. I pray it in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, week. Yeah.